Domestic violence is a pattern of behavior that is set up to manipulate someone. So it isn't always the whole old idea of, well, she gets beat up, or that's not what necessarily what it is. These are relationships, and they start, with treating people nicely and, winning their heart, so to speak. And many times people don't realize that they're in a bad situation until something really bad happens. Shelter is available to people who are homeless due to recent domestic violence or sexual assault. Right now, we serve about 300 people a year, and 1/3 of them need shelter. So 2/3 of the people come for those things like protection orders, maybe just to understand, what is domestic violence? Am I in a domestic violence situation? What can I do?
Hi, Julia.
Mary Cohens and Julia O'Neill King are with the Artemis House, an emergency domestic and sexual violence shelter in Spearfish ran through the Victims of Violence Intervention Program. The organization was founded in 1979 with the first structure built in 1990. Today's shelter was constructed in 2012. Both Mary and Julia see firsthand the challenges victims face every day. The Artemis House is just one of many local shelters across the state offering safety, help, and hope. Turning to a local emergency shelter is a good place to start for those in need, but there are other options.
When a person goes to a shelter in their local area, the resources are well known by the people working there, and they're able to help in a more defined way, I guess. If a person needs shelter and they're in another area and they want to come here, I may be able to help them, but they're starting all over completely. Now, there are some cases where they need to do that. If a person needs to flee that area for safety, and maybe they're en route to somewhere else where there's family, we do work with other shelters, and that's so important.
The 3 R's that we talk about are recognize, respond, and refer. So we're hoping that our friends of the Artemis House may recognize a situation that concerns them. Maybe it's a potential red flags about abuse, or someone may actually tell them about a tough situation they're going through.
Friends of the Artemis House is an additional outreach tool used to help teach its own members on better ways to assist those in need. They are taught when to recognize that someone is in need of help and how to better communicate with those folks, or they can simply provide a financial gift. Artemis House staff members also educate members of the community of all ages.
We do pre-prom talks in the schools to help the kids just kind of think about what's going to happen that night, and and if something should happen, what they should do about it. We have a lot of old beliefs ourselves. We think it isn't, if we've had sex before with that person, that it can't be rape. That's not true. If a person is treating you badly, or if there's something going on that does not feel comfortable to you and that person forces it on you, that could be rape. Some people have religious beliefs that within marriage, you can't be raped within a marriage, but again, it's about how you're being treated. If it's forceful, if it's hurtful, that's not love, and that is not meant to be within that marriage then either. Of course, we don't make decisions for other people. We just let them know what their options are. Many people don't know that they have options. That happens in a domestic violence home, is that the person who wants to have that power and control continues to just work away at the personality of that other person and try to keep them isolated so that they don't leave them. The main things that I think are most important that we offer are confidentiality and safety. Every decision we make focuses on those two things. But when someone comes in, they may need a protection order. We can help. They may need to go over to the hospital and get some injuries taken care of. If a sexual assault occurred, we want forensic evidence to be collected in an appropriate way, so that if this goes to trial, that someone can be accountable for what they've done. We care about people, and so right away there is that feeling that they can get what they need from us and not have to worry about us telling someone else about it or us judging them, because that's no part of who we are.
The maximum stay at the Artemis House is 6 months, although staff members understand that each case is different. No one is allowed to stay if they are under the influence of drugs or alcohol. While the shelter is a temporary home for those in need, the help provided to victims can stick with them for a lifetime.
That's something that's amazing about working here, because they do come back and they do call. They may say thank you, or just let us know where they are now, how their life is going. We've also had them come back and say, hey, I'm back on my feet. Can I volunteer? Can I donate? And we've got kind of a mental list of people in the community who have said, that used to be me, and now I want to give back. So you tell me when you need something, and we do, and they do support us.